So now our third scholar is Dr. Anat Barth. Dr. Anat Barth is from Michalalach Jerusalem College, and she will share with us about the changing faces of the Haredi family. Let's welcome Dr. Barth.
שלום רב, תודה רבה על ההצגה.
Thank you.
אז אני נתבקשתי באמת לדבר על...
I was asked to ask about the changes in the structure of the Haredi family. I was very interested to hear Dee and Shlomi before me, and that gave us a perspective about various aspects of the Haredi population. I'm going to talk about a central thing for all of us, and especially for the Haredi population. We're living in a world in which the concept of family is changing. It used to be clear that family is father, mother, and the children. But we know that today the new family allows for very diverse types of families. They can be two mothers or single moms that by choice bring a child together to the world. In Europe, we have the definition of a sole person, an individual as a family unit. This change is a significant change that our world is undergoing, and we see the winds of this change in various mechanisms that we live in, whether it in the filling of force that from father and mother we move to parent one and parent two, and the change of Mother's Day to Family Day. The family in the modern world has changed its role along with its definition, and it became from a socialization agent to an incubator that allows each individual to grow, to fulfill his potential. When the one-dimensional value aspect is decreasing. On the other hand, in the Orthodox society, the problems of the family are different and they're imminent to the family as a whole. So the concept of a family in the ultra-Orthodox society are a married father and mother and their children. Any other family is hardly accepted into the concept of family. And we have to understand that this family has many roles. It's the first and foremost social unit. It teaches kids how to behave in society, how to behave at all. And it's a very significant agent of society and has a very important role. Beyond its internal role, the family has also an external role. It's part of the chain that upholds the continuation of the Haredi population. The status of the family, the perception of the family by society, and what it exports as its behavior has a significant impact on all its members. And that is why this concept is so meaningful. From which family do I come is something that shapes my child, where he will be able to reach, what goals he will be able to attain. And that's why the concept of family is very important for the understanding of the Haredi society. And this concept is not undergoing change currently. We have to understand that the concept of family, because it's so important, has impact on a child's life from day one. And these principles, such principles, direct the child for family life. The first thing that children are taught are marriage to a ben Torah, son of the Torah. The men are expected to study the Torah as their sole occupation. women are expected to marry Torah study student and to undertake the management of the household and um, the financing of the family. The concept of excellence is very crucial here. If you study the Torah, do that with excellence. Be excellent in your studiousness. And if you're married to a son of the Torah, then manage your household in excellence. The Haredi family and the Haredi life are based on gender roles, adult and child roles. All these are very important. And Haredi children are educated to either grow up to be the husband or the wife. We can see that already in kindergartens, in role playing, and even later. This is the aspiration, and this is what they're shaped for. The ultra Orthodox population and family, because it is blessed with many children, and most of the Haredi population is living under the poverty line. These dimensions call for a high level of efficiency, and the Haredi child learns how to be efficient in his family in very many aspects, in financially, contribution to the family life. Another important value in family is modesty. We many times look at it from externally in terms of clothing, but modesty talks about the way of life, material aspect of life, and these things. Children from the youngest children are educated and taught in this vein. These concepts take a very important part in their life. The Haredi child and Haredi man are living in a spiral that envelops them of awareness to the importance of family life. And matchmaking is the Haredi bottleneck of all the Haredi life. As children, we are prepared for family life constantly. And the concept of family, the concept of father and mother are very significant and important in children's education. When children are youth, they are tested for genetic tests in order for them to be able to match make to people that they match genetically, so that they don't have the same genes for the same illnesses. Now we have to understand that the Haredi population refrains from abortions, and that is why they prefer to prevent any genetic problems before the pregnancy. The youth know that they're under the close-looking eye of matchmakers, and their behavior and conduct in this respect is very significant, especially in their youth. Children are taught that marriage is a goal, is their life's goal, among the most important goals of their life. And the ability to marry and maintain a marriage is a mark of success. And if you cannot marry, you're a failure, or if your family is broken, you're a failure. Beyond the creation of a family, an important part is to raise children, educate them in the Haredi world, and match make your children and marry your children, and all these issues just envelop the Haredi men and women from all the directions. When we're talking about matchmaking, we're talking about a very important mechanism that is still very powerful. Haredi spouses do not meet accidentally and fall in love. They are matched through professionals in the educational system, the parents, and the matchmakers. First of all, there is genetic matching. Lee noted the similarities between societies. It's very important that there'll be matching in the values of both families. Sometimes we talk about economic matching, um, rich families seek poor but very studious Torah pupils. We have the sectors and community matching. We have the Hasidim, the Litaim, the Sephardim. We will not see a mixture between these communities. Only when there are problems, we'll see a mixing of these societies and communities. And of course, there are different classes in the Haredi society, spiritual classes, as well as socioeconomic classes. All these aspects are taken into consideration in matchmaking. And there we see very continuous preservation of the family concept and throughout the years. When we look at the family life itself, we can see the changes that reality has been exacting from the Haredi family life. The male roles include being a Torah student, but it has been talked and written about the severity of the Torah studies. This is an endless study course. There are no tests. And sometimes in the Haredi society, they talk about concept of drying out. When you're a Torah pupil and you know that you will not excel in your studies, you sit in the college, and you know that you're not doing something special, and that may disturb someone's self-confidence and identity, and may challenge a person, and also his partnership with his spouse. In the Ktuva, the men are obligated to feed and provide their wives, but eventually the women are the providers, and that's acceptable. But still, the feeling that the man is not the provider, according to Haredi stereotypes, is very harsh. The Haredi family may have a hard time with the fact that the women provides, and sometimes provide even well, when the man sits in the kollel, and at the end of the month, even if he's a good student, he brings home 2,000 nice in comparison to the 20,000 his wife brings as a high-tech woman. The man is supposed to be the foreign minister of the family, but his knowledge about the banks, mortgages, and his ability to conduct himself in the external financial world is very limited. And this is a great burden. Regarding the female roles, we see a contradiction between what the society asks for them. The concept of, oh, glorious is the king's daughter within, the concept of modesty is contradicted by the need of women to conduct themselves in the outside world. The role of a provider, of a worker, contradicts the goal of managing the household and caring for the children. The women, when they're working, they cannot take care of the children, and then the husband is required to take care of the children. 87% of the Haredi women are employed, but many of them work in part-time jobs. 40% of them work in teaching professions whose wages are very low. And even in the high-tech sector, the wages of Haredi women are relatively lower. Also, in the family sphere, the Haredi family is very challenged. If in the past it was accepted that parents buy an apartment for the children, today in most cases parents cannot afford to buy and purchase apartment for the children, and then the children have to take a mortgage. This is a burden over the expectations of the children. Now the family, when they live as a sort of tribe, the need to purchase affordable apartments force many young Haredi couples to distance themselves from their families to buy affordable apartments in Haifa, in Arad, in other cities that distance them from their parents and the support of their family. Still, the age of marriage in the Haredi family is low. Women marry at the age of 20 and men marry at the age of 22 on average. And the divorce rate is very low relatively to the secular society. However, in research conducted by Ariel Finkelstein, we see that in the recent decades, there's a significant increase in the divorce rate, an increase of 67% from cohorts between decades. And when we talk about divorce rates, we see the changes also in the perception of divorce. In the past, a divorce in the ultra-Orthodox society was this ultra-Orthodox society was true to the conception of forced divorce. Only when there was blame into one of the sides, normally violence or mental illnesses. In recent years, we see a rise of legitimization in issues such as communication problems, emotional issues, as a reason for divorce. This has become more acceptable among rabbis and the religious court. And this enables more people who live in unsatisfying relationships to break apart the marriage. Another change is young divorce that we've seen more. In the past, parents and rabbis would have pushed couples to remain together. There was a concept called peace in the home children. If you're having a hard time, bring a child to the world and then you'll be okay. Today, it is acknowledged that these children bring many things, but not peace to the house. And when couples marriage, and after 3 months, 6 months, they see that it's not working, the marriage rather be broken before the children arrive. And there's also much an acceptability of late divorce after all the children are married in order to not hamper their matchmaking. We see couples breaking up. Another change is we see in the support to divorcees in the Haredi populations. We've seen support groups established in the population, and we also see an evolution within these groups. Uh, the umbrella organization is called Mother Emma Banim, the mother of sons. It focuses on mothers that have children. So in the past, women who did not have children or did not have small children could not be receive support from that group. So in the past, this group only gave support to the woman as a mother. Um, Now, in recent years, we've seen this same organization that was established by Seni Sukenik strives to provide support for every woman who divorced, even if she divorced without children, or if she divorced and her children have grown up and she is no longer caring for them. Men support organizations for men do not yet exist formally, maybe only privately, but we have seen changes also in this respect. So if some have been saying the ultra-Orthodox family remains a strong essential link in the ultra-Orthodox society and is not challenged in the public sphere. However, this change is challenged in terms of its gender roles by the Israeli reality, like we said, in the roles of the men and the women, and also in the sphere that the family lives. And we see that there is more exception of divorce, more openness towards divorce, despite the fact that they're still perceived as a failure and as undesirable, as something that society would significantly prefer not to happen. But we have seen seeds of support in divorcees. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Anat Barth.